For a standard proctor compaction test, with different replacement of 0.4 of plastic strips by weight of soil respectively, the maximum dry density decreasing concurrently with increasing optimal moisture content due to the presence of plastic strips that fill up the void in between the soil particles, thereby reduce their soil permeability. For the unconfined compressive strength test, the unconfined compressive strength of soil was found to be increased for soil treated up until addition of 0.8 of plastic strips, but afterwards decreased eventually at 1.2% of plastic replacement. This is because the clay content replacement by plastic strips led to reduction of cohesive force in the soil sample. As we can see from here, these are the failure conditions of the soil specimen after reinforced with 0, 0.4, 0.8, and 1.2% of plastic strips. Initially, without any insertion of plastic strips, the soil specimen undergoes brittle shear slip failure with barrel effect. But then after insertion of 0.4, then 0.8 of plastic strips, the soil specimen undergo partial shear failure where minimal shear was appeared. But then after insertion of 1.2% of plastic strips, the soil specimen again undergo brittle shear slip failure. Okay, as a conclusion, the soil sample is classified as clayey soil with intermediate plasticity. The maximum dry density decreased while the optimal moisture content increased as the percentage of plastic strips increased from 0 to 1.2%. Meanwhile, for the unconfined compressive strength, initially increased up until addition of 0.8, but then eventually decreased at 1.2% of plastic replacement. Hence, the optimal percentage of polypropylene clamshell food container strips that can be added into soil was found to be 0.8% by weight of dry soil. Overall, it can be deduced that the polypropylene clamshell food container strips are suitable to be used to reinforce, to stabilize the soil. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Nariza, for your presentation. So now I would like to open for the Q&A. Okay, Dr. Niwarti again.
Hi, Azura. Thank you for the interesting presentation and interesting research. I have two questions. First, how do you mix the strips into the clay so that it is not clumped together? This is the trick. It is not clumped together. It is distributed evenly in the soil. Okay. The second question, if you can see that the strength, is it the compressive strength? The last slides before, it is increased up to 0.8, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then it decreased at 1.2. So do you know why it is increased up to that 0.8%? What is the mechanism that makes the compressive strength increase despite the moisture content also increase? Okay, that is my question. Thank you.
قربان شما مرسی ممنون.
Okay, for the first question, how I mix. So actually, to make sure that it is distributed evenly, so I mix it by stages. So first I put little, then mix it, then put a little again, then mix it until it's evenly, and not just put one portion at one time. So okay, so for the second question, the strength reached 0.8 maximum because at 1.2 the plastic strips already, the amount of plastic strips already higher. So the amount of water content. So it's actually the moisture content increase. No, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
We
Okay, thank
couldn't
you.
hear again.
Thank you, Dr. Nur Widawati, for your question. Okay, now I'll move to the next question from Dr. Syed Jamal bin Syed Hakim. You are welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was very interesting. So actually, I'm not an expert in the soil mechanic and and geotechnique. Just I have my simple question. We know plastic waste stabilization leads to an increase in ultimate bearing capacity of soil, correct? This is for low content of plastic waste. So my question is it this increase in ultimate bearing capacity of soil will be more effective for high penetration values?
High penetration value for?
For soil.
So is
That
it
means for
for?
high penetration values, we will have a more increase in the ultimate bearing capacity of soil or bearing capacity of soil.
So it's actually the proportion needs to be increased so that the bearing capacity will be higher. So actually to use for subgrade pavement, it needs actually at least 100 kilopascal for compressive strength. So the percentage for the plastic strips added need to be greater rather than use this proportion, because small amount of plastic strip doesn't give significant effect, but higher will give significant effect, obviously.
So for higher plastic waste, if you use higher plastic waste content, I think bearing capacity of soil will be decreased. We will have a reduction, correct? For higher plastic waste content. I think for sure will be.
Yes.
Will be. You did any CBR test for bearing capacity of soil? The
No,
California bearing ratio you use?
no, it's only unconfined compressive test, strength test.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Syed Jamal again.
You're welcome.
Welcome. So, listener, I will take the suggestion from Dr. Syed and maybe conduct another test, right? CDR, right? And so on.
Yes.
Okay, now I would like to invite Dr. Zainal Rizwan daripada Q&A again.
Okay, thank you very